Well, I got another video review for you this week. So you guys have seen me doing a lot of upgrades and things like that to my desk area. You know, I spend a lot of time here making YouTube videos and researching, and sometimes I just want to play the old PS5, you know, and kick back and do a little gaming. But you know, over the last few episodes I showed you, I did the mat here on top that doubles as a mouse pad, and then I got the riser here for the monitor, so it makes it a little bit easier just to look straight across instead of having to look down. And then I put the monitor light up here from Quintus, and I've been very pleased with everything that I've done so far. And then I cleared all the tower and the UPS system off my desk. I put it on this cart, and so if you're interested in any of the things that I've done, go back and look at some of those other YouTube videos. So today what we're going to be doing is upgrading my chair. You know, the chair that I'm in, I've had it for a few years now, and then I'm not going to lie, it's been a great chair. Got it at Staples, and it comes with a good warranty and all that. It's a nice run-of-the-mill chair, but when it comes to, you know, supporting your lumbar area, you know, it's not very supportive. And you know, I wanted something breathable, you know, so I wanted one of these mesh chairs. And so I've never had one before. Now I have had the one with just the mesh back. I've never had one with the back and the bottom. So we're going to be trying that out today. And I was doing a little research on the internet. I come across this company called CABEVIBE. They seem to have some nice chairs, and so I want to be doing a review on this one today, so stay tuned. All right, so the chair that we're going to be reviewing today is the C1. Now, CABEVIBE does have two different chairs. They've got the C1, and then they've got the C1 Pro. And the C1 Pro is actually built a little bit sturdier than this one. It's got a stronger base, stronger mesh. But this one here, the C1, just the regular, it says that it would support up to 350 pounds. So I thought, yeah, that'd be good enough for me. I'm gonna give it a shot. So here we are. I'm gonna do just a quick unboxing. I got it in the mail a couple weeks ago, and I've been waiting to do the video. And so I just now got around to getting to it. But I'm gonna not waste much time on the unboxing, but this is the way it'll come to you guys. I've just got it sitting here on this roller dolly so I can roll it through the house. And you can see everything seems to be packaged really nice. I got to give it to them. And then your main components are wrapped in this space age looking material. I've never seen them package stuff in like a Mylar packaging before. Me and my girlfriend unboxed everything, pulled all the packaging off there, and we're almost done unpackaging everything. My girlfriend looks over at me and she says, you know, I gotta hand it to them. They did a good job packaging everything up. And I said, all right, baby, I'll put it in the video. I'll let them know. So I do have to agree with her. Everything was wrapped in plastic, and then the foam, and then a lot of it was wrapped in that like a Mylar padded foam. And so, yeah, they did a really good job. There was nothing that I seen that was scratched up. And I gotta say, the quality of the chair seems to be really high. I noticed that, you know, the plastic on this thing is like really thick. I've never seen anything that thick at like Staples or Office Depot or Walmart or anything like that. It seems to be really thick plastic. And you know, the adjustability here on the arms, you can raise those up, and then you can pull them in and out, and you know, it's padded right here. And so I'm excited to get it put together and see what it looks like final product. But one thing that I wanted to show you is it comes with the tool right here for the nuts and bolts. It's like a little wrench, and then everything is clearly labeled, and it basically just wants you to start here with the base first. And I just wanted to show you what that looks like. You've got I guess it's a black powder coated steel, and then there's like a plastic chrome there in the middle, and that's your base. And then you've got your legs, and these are just steel legs. They've got like a chroming on them, and the chrome looks okay. There's a few little places that, you know, the chrome has a little run here and there, but that's typical of any, you know, office equipment I've ever gotten before. But you know, it seems to be of good quality. The steel seems to be pretty thick for an office chair. And then you got all your wheels and all this, and you know, the wheels seem to be pretty nice. They're more for like carpet wheels. Now that's one thing I probably will upgrade. I always do it on all my office chairs, and I like putting the rollerblade wheels on there. But don't worry, I've got a set that's like 13 or 14 bucks. If I can find them, I'll link it in the description. And they're actually the ones that I have on this chair. But if you got carpet, these will work just fine. And then you got your hydraulic ram, and this is chrome. All right, guys, so right here is the base, and basically you want to remove this little trim piece. You'll use it after we do this step, and then you've got your legs. So you know that this bottom base piece here is kind of angled down, so you know that that's going to be the bottom. And so when you flip it over, you can see that there is a screw hole there. It's threaded. And so what you want to do is use the supplied bolts. It's an M6 by 15. It says there's 6 of them. But you only need 5 right here. I guess they give you 6 just as like an extra. And then, like I said, they give you the tool. It's like a little Allen key with a plastic handle on it. If you'll notice right here on the bottom, there's a little bit of blue thread locker just on like 1/3 of the bolt. So what I like doing, since I'm OCD and I'm a fat man and a lot of times my chairs come loose, I'll take it an extra step and I'll just take it and put a little extra thread locker on the threads there. That way, you know, it don't come loose. Is easy down the road, and looks like I'm getting close to being out. There we go. But I just put a little squirt all the way around on it and thread that in there, and then I'm just going to tighten that up. So if you're interested in some thread locker, I put some in the link it in the description. All right, so you can see we got all 5 legs on. Now we're just going to flip it over, and you can see right here you've got the holes to push the casters in place, and all they do is just slide in place. Just give them a little bit of pressure and they'll push right in. All right, so get all the casters put on. I'm just going to flip it over on this box here. You can put the trim piece back on. It should just slide right over the base just like that. And then now you've got your hydraulic cylinder there. Slide it in there just like that. All right, guys, so I just wanted to show you the next step. You want to take the seat base, flip it upside down, and then I have the seat back here. And then you can see the way that it goes together is very simple. It just slides together like that. You're going to use the certain screws that they recommend, and it's clearly labeled M8 30 screws. You get 5 of them, and it says for backrest. So yeah, you can see that it's easy to get to. There's screw 1, screw 2, 3, and 4. And then once you get that, you'll have the 2 mated together. All right, so I went ahead and got all 4 of these aligned and tightened down. And now this is one piece, since it's bolted together. And then now it says to go ahead and put the arms on it. And it says the M6 by 30 screws for armrest, and they give you 7. All right, so next you want to get your right arm for the chair, and it'll have an R here stamped in the plastic here on the very bottom. And then there is a little piece of plastic somewhere right in here. It says R. And then you're going to take and you're going to put it right in there just like that. And then you're going to put 3 supplied bolts in there, and they got flat washers with them, and tighten it down and do the same thing for this side over here. And it says next to go ahead and gently put the base. There's a hole right here in the base. You're going to slide that right over top of the hydraulic cylinder there. And it should just slide right on there just like that. And feels pretty stable. Don't hear any noises or any of that. So this is the back part of the chair here. I've got the chair turned around backwards. And I just wanted to point out right here on the very top, you can see that there's a little mark there and a little mark there on the top right here. I don't know how well you guys can see that and that. What that little mark represents is where this little notch out place should fit for the headrest. So I'm gonna kind of turn this to the side where you can see it's gonna slide right in at that notch right there. And I'm just gonna push it down just like that. And you can see that that little notch fits right up against the back of the chair. And then you've got this little block piece that fits up in there, and you've got a screw on each side, and basically it just slides up underneath there and clamps the bottom of that headrest. And now you're gonna have to get up underneath there with the little tool and tighten everything up, and you can push this up where you can get to it. All right, now that I've got the screws started on both sides, once you start to get them all tightened up, you'll notice that it starts clamping down on the top of the seat back there. All right, so the way that you move the headrest up and down is you just push it, and there's several clicks, and when it gets to the very top click, then it'll just come all the way back down. But you can hear all the different clicks and adjustments that there is, and then like I said, when you get to the top, it comes back down. Probably about right in there is about as high as it can go. And I think it said that this thing could go up to, you know, someone over like 6'3" and be comfortable. And I'm 6'1", so this should fit me pretty well. All right, guys, so got the chair all put together, and I gotta say, I like the way that it looks. I've not sat in it yet, and so I just wanted to say that if you see me trying to avoid this little area here in front of my desk, that's because the flooring is starting to come up, and it's just right here at my desk. The rest of the flooring in the house is perfect, but right here, it's Cortex Premium Plus Red River Hickory flooring. I reached out to Cortex, and they sent a technician out here to look at it, and they're probably going to end up replacing this little section of floor. I'm not real sure yet. I haven't heard from them, but I'm trying to get them to replace it. But stay tuned. In my next video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to not just fix the floor. I'm going to put a glass chair mat over top of it from a company called Vitraza. And so that's going to be my next review. So make sure you guys watch that, because it's a glass chair mat that fits this whole area, so I don't have to roll these wheels on the wood floor there, or this fake flooring, whatever it is. It should prevent it from ever coming up, and it should make my chair roll a lot better as well. So if you see me out here in the middle and not up close to the desk, that's why. I just wanted to point that out. But you can see that the chair looks really nice. I like this part here. I haven't even sat in it, and I can tell that's going to be very comfortable up against my back. But I've got it all the way down right now. And another feature that I thought was really cool that you don't see a whole lot of chairs is it has the wires that controls all the functions, where some of them have the bars. And mine that my girlfriend's sitting in, that I was sitting in, it uses a bar to lock it from tilting forward or backwards. And the reason I hate that so much is when I'm trying to make a YouTube video, half the time I'll make the slightest movement in my chair and I'll get the loudest clanking sound from that bar. So I am very much looking forward to the wires here. So I'm gonna go ahead and lift this lever here. You can see that this is how you raise the chair up. Now, since it's up higher, I'm gonna go ahead and have a seat. So I gotta say, feels really good. I like the height of these arms. That was one thing that my girlfriend had made mention of too. You can lower them way down. That's not very comfortable for me, but I like them being up high, because if you think about it, your elbows is going to be right there at your mouth, and maybe a little bit high, but yeah, I'll probably lower it down just a little bit, and then that way my hand will be right there at my mouth, and I don't have to get carpal tunnel trying to be at some odd angle. So I do like that. First thing I noticed is the lumbar support. Like I said, I could tell before I even sat in it that piece right there was going to hit me in the right part of my back. You do feel some support there. Also, I can feel air on my butt. I mean, literally, from coming from a chair that's like leather to a mesh chair, you know, literally, I can feel air on my butt where, you know, it gets kind of hot, you know, sitting in a leather chair for many hours during the day. So that is definitely a plus. And these armrests, they pull in and out, probably not all the way, you know, like it should, because I'm obviously fat, but you can see that it pulls in and out some, and then, you know, they move forward and backwards. For me, I'm probably going to keep mine pulled back, just simply because I don't want it to hit my desk. And there's some padding, you know, you can see right there where I'm squeezing. It's probably a good inch thick of like some sort of foam, it feels like. So that does feel pretty good. All right, so I'm just going to show you when I sit down. You can see right here that it touches my back and gives some support there. So it just really depends on what you like. But then it also has this feature here where you can pull up on this lever and you can slide the seat forward, just like in a car, you know. And you can see right in here about how much space is right there. Well, watch, I pulled out, and so now that kind of shifts more of my weight forward. So I actually prefer it slid forward. I think it just feels better for me, and it feels more balanced. You know, it feels better. It don't feel like I'm gonna tip over or anything like that. And you know, this way I can throw my feet up on my desk, which I do a lot. Yeah, that's pretty neat. And then you can feel that lumbar piece right there. Whenever you lean back, it just kind of adjusts with your back. You know, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to, because I'm not used to this type of chair and all these different adjustments, and the tension on this one is a little different than my chair. And you can stiffen it up. There is an adjustment knob there up underneath the front, so you can, you know, make it stiffer or lighter, the spring in the reclining part. I'll show it to you. Pretty common on most chairs. But you can see right there, you can turn that and it makes it a little bit tighter, or you can loosen it. I'm gonna leave mine right where it's at for now. But I gotta say, just as it is right out of the box, it feels pretty comfortable. The only thing is when I try to turn these out, they do cut into me because I'm a big guy. Like I said, I'm about 330, and this thing's rated up to like 350 pounds, but it doesn't feel rickety at all. I mean, literally, I can lay all the way back in this thing and it doesn't feel like it's gonna fall. Yeah, I really like it. I think it's gonna keep me cooler, that's for certain. And it looks really good. Pretty impressed with the way that it looks. I think it'll look pretty good with the desk set up. I think it modernizes it a little bit. I think it, you know, it'll look good with that mid-century modern style desk. All right, so like I said earlier, you've got a lever you can push down, and this is for the back of it to lock. You can see right now I can't lean back in it, but when I mash down and on that little lever, now I can lean all the way back in the chair. Now, if I lean forward, it's going to come up with me, and as you can see, that lumbar support really hugs my back. That feels really good when you're laying back in this thing. But then let's say I want to lean all the way back and I don't want it to go back forward. I just pull up on that lever, and then now it locks in place. And you don't hear that pesky bar up underneath your chair when you lock it and you try to lean forward, or you make the slightest move. And like I said, when I make my YouTube videos, it just makes that clunkety sound and I have to edit it out. It's very annoying. So I'm glad that this is cable operated and it doesn't have the bars. All right, now one of the cool features about this chair that I really like is the back is adjustable. And what I mean by that is, you see the lumbar is bulging out right in there. Well, let's say that's not hitting your back, you know, at the right spot. Well, watch this. You can raise this up, all the way up, and then, you know, lower it back down once it gets to that higher, that high spot. It just goes back down. But watch, you listen to the clicks. I can drop it all the way down, or again, I can raise it all the way up. So yeah, you can see right in there how much more room I have. So yeah, you just pick up on it and click it in place, and you know, that's pretty neat. And then again, this headrest is adjustable as well, so you can raise it up and down. Yeah, it's pretty neat how it works. And so it hits me right in the perfect spot. You don't really notice it hitting the back of your neck till you recline. So I'll show you just in everyday sitting in the chair working on your computer. You know, you might feel it just a little bit, but you're mostly going to notice this when you lean back, and then it feels really good. I mean, it feels like a nice little recliner because you got some support. And let's say I'm watching TV right here, that I have a 65-inch TV mounted on the wall, and I can sit right here and throw my feet up on the desk and watch TV. All right, so just wanted to run through a few little things here from the website. I clicked on what it had to say about this particular chair, and like I said, this one is the C1. Like I said, it's rated for 350 pounds. It's got that breathable mesh. It's got a 135-degree recline. It says it accommodates different heights from 5'2" to 6'3", and I'm 6'1". And you can see that, you know, this is with the gas strut all the way extended out. It's not making any kind of noise. I can wiggle in it and move around in it, and there's no clunking noise like my other office chair that was rated for someone, I think, up to 400 pounds, and it makes all kinds of noise. It says right here, 3-year warranty. Now, as with all my reviews, you're not guaranteed a great review. I like to be, you know, honest in my reviews. And one of the things that I seen that was a little funny, it said that 10-minute assembly. Now, if you're not reading the manual and you've put one of these together before, then yeah, I could see maybe putting it together in 10-15 minutes. But if you've never read the manual before and you've never put one of these together, I would say 20 minutes, just on average, you know, maybe 25 minutes. You know, we had to film, so it took us a few extra minutes, and we didn't film everything. You know, we took our time. We wanted to tell you guys how to do it right. I would say, you know, average person, probably 20 minutes. And as far as the manual goes, the manual was really good. Had some good illustrations in there. Everything was nice and clear. The only hiccup that I seen in the manual was on page 6 at the very bottom. It was talking about the clamps here, where the headrest clamps onto the back of the backrest there. It says to position the 2 M6 screws until them clicks into place. It should say until they click into place. So they could go back and change that on there. It's not that big of a deal, but you know, I try to find stuff like that, you know, because I do read through the manual, so I provide you guys with good information. But gotta say, very impressed with this chair, and you know, I highly recommend it. So far, this is not a long-term review. I can't tell you, you know, this thing might break into tomorrow, but if it does, I'll come back and let you guys know. You can ask me in the comments. I'll always try to answer everybody. So if you're on the fence about purchasing the chair, you know, say, hey, how's the chair going? You got any problems with it? I don't mind, I'll tell you. And so anyways, I appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate this company, CABEVIBE, for sending it out. Just because they send it out don't mean that, you know, companies are going to always get a great report. That's not how I operate. I can't afford to buy all these products to review, so companies send them to me for me to review. And you know, sometimes they get good score, sometimes they get a bad score, but you know, like I said, this seems like a very good quality chair, and they did a good job on it. If I can come up with any kind of promo code or anything like that, I'll put it in the description. Till next time, guys, thanks for watching, and make sure you watch my next video too with the Vitraza glass chair mat. I think you guys are really going to like that. See ya.